Good morning from Western University, here on the campus of Western University.
Welcome to OSFL Champ Weekend, Day 2. We got 12 games going on this weekend. Dylan Sherville is joining us on the broadcast here shortly. We've got Coach Caranci joining us shortly on the broadcast as well. Dylan, how's it going, brother?
Going great.
Oh, hold on, check. Here we go. Let's bring you in.
Going great.
All right.
Loving to be here on an early in the morning.
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, we've partnered this weekend with our good buddies at 519 Sports Online. Darren Stevenson is down on the field, and we're going to get a quick recap. Darren, how's it going down there? I can feel the vibe up here in the press box already.
Yeah, there's tons of energy here this morning, Adam. It might be bright and early, but these players are ready to go. They've been waiting for this football game for a long time to be here in London at what is being dubbed AAA Championship Saturday. It's going to be pretty remarkable, the games here today at Western University here at Alumni Stadium. You mentioned a minute ago we will kick things off here with the Essex Ravens, who are in the black uniforms, and then the Kingston Grenadiers, who have traveled down from the 613 after picking up a victory in their semifinal game earlier this week. This is the KJ Kennedy Cup. It's a U14 AAA matchup. Following that, we will have the Waterloo Junior Warriors hitting the field. They will take on the Kingston Grenadiers. That is also a KJ Kennedy Cup, a U18 AAA. And following that, boy, it's just going to be incredible to see the football and the talent on display here this afternoon. We have 3 back-to-back provincial championship games, starting with the U14 AAA, moving into U16 AAA, and the nightcap here tonight is the U18 AAA provincial championship, which will pit the Kingston Grenadiers against the Hamilton Junior Tiger Cats. If you're looking to see the best football talent, the best young football talent in our province, this is the place to be right here at Alumni Stadium at Western University. Should be a great weekend of football. You mentioned off the top, Adam, the partnership this weekend between 519 Sports Online and London Football TV. Super appreciative to you for having us involved in this weekend. And basically, here's how it works. London Football TV, which you are watching right now, is live streaming all of the games. So like and subscribe to their YouTube channel to make sure that you catch all the action if you can't make it down to Western University here. Admission is just $10 to get in, and you can watch some great football action all day long. 519 Sports, you may have seen some of it last night. There was a Peterborough party after the Wolverines picked up a victory, and the Sarnia Sturgeon as well. They were quite hyped up after picking up a victory here on Friday night at Western. And 519 Sports is bringing you all the highlights. We've got all the interviews, the live streams on London Football TV, and we're not done yet. We got 5 today. Oh, by the way, we got 5 more tomorrow. It truly is a celebration of football here in London. And a quick thank you shout out to Marnie and Mike and Rob and Glenn Mills and everybody associated with the OSFL. Aaron Giesler, the president of Football Ontario. Our thanks for allowing us to bring this to you through London Football TV and 519 Sports Online. What do we got here? We got 9 minutes before the Essex Ravens and the Kingston Grenadiers get us started here again. Hope you can join us down at Western University. If not, make sure you watch it all on London Football TV. I'm jazzed. I know you're ready, Adam. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this for months. I'm going to send it back up to you guys. Dylan, Adam, let's have a great game. Kickoff coming up shortly.
Thank you, Darren. And Sherville, welcome to the broadcast, buddy. I know, like I said, Coach Caranci is going to be joining us here shortly. I think I see him walking up in a nice bright blue Hawaiian shirt for a Saturday morning. 5 games going on today. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us on London Football TV. This morning is the KJ Kennedy Cup, the U14 AAA level. It's AAA Saturday, Shervs, and we're super pumped. Later today at 11:30, we've got Myers taking on Waterloo. Then the 14, 16, and 18 respectively will be a Durham-Cumberland matchup, a London-Cumberland matchup, and then a Kingston-Hamilton finale tonight for the AAA team. Shervs, I mean, I know you've been around these U14 teams a lot as well, too. Any insight on this Kingston-Essex team we're about to see on the field, sir?
Of course, and when you look at Essex, it's a lot about how they get Boston Bedell the football. It's number 2. You will be calling his name a lot today. He calls himself Mini McCaffrey on Instagram and on his social media. So if that's not confidence, I don't know what is. But they try to find him ways the ball multiple ways, whether it's handing him the ball off, lining him up as a receiver, passing him the ball out of the backfield. One thing I will point out, though, is that this Kingston team played on Tuesday. So less time to prep, really, because you're preparing for a different football game. So it's going to be interesting to see how their defense comes out against this Essex offense and how they're going to adjust and make those plays mid-game. That would be the thing that I personally would watch for. This Kingston offense does do some things that are a little bit different from the traditional, you know, H-back and the leads and things that we'll see from other teams. They like to really air it out. So it'll be interesting to see how their offense reacts to that as well.
Right on. Well, you know what? Pre-game, I had a great chance to interview a whole bunch of refs this week, or refs, I'm sorry, coaches. And Coach Florisi of the Essex Ravens coming in saying, it's basically echoing what you're saying. Boston Bedell, Josiah Florisi, Idris Elzid, combined for 700 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns over the last 2 games. So a triple threat. So a big shout out to the offensive line coming from his coach as well, too. On the defense, the entire defense is full of hungry lions and ready to get it, I'm told. I would assume that would have been hungry ravens, but it's all good. So Kincaid, 9 for 9 PAT last 2 weeks, 1 onside kick recovery. Boston Bedell punt return for a touchdown in the last game. So, you know, coach just saying a great group of young men that steadily showed growth, grit, and never gave up all year no matter the circumstances. So you always get a tough game out of an Essex Ravens matchup. And like you said, Kingston just won against Scarborough on Tuesday night, so they had a couple of days to kind of put their practice plan in, and we're real excited to bring this broadcast today. So, Coach Caranci, why don't you come on over here, buddy? I'll let you in, and you got rosters here, you've got rosters here, Shervs, and we've got this fantastic. There's 2 of these actually. I know you probably know this as well. The London Football Association decided we needed to learn the Macarena, so they handed us this great sheet of what the calls mean, and we appreciate them. So I'll hand it off to you guys. We're going to go to O Canada here shortly, but you can keep the pregame going here, fellas, and we'll get rolling here. And thanks for joining us on London Football TV. On 3, so if you need to mute, just push that in. Just click. That guy. And then sure if you're on 1. Okay, go for it, fellas.
All right, Coach Caranci, how are we doing today?
Good, buddy. Nice to see
Nice
you.
to see you.
Congratulations on the big win the other day, by the way.
Absolutely.
I got to tell you.
It was a good time. Yeah, it was different. It was fun, that's for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's also different, you know, with the 9-on-9 versus 12-on-12.
Man, let me just say, first of all, thanks for having me here. This is fantastic. I've called a couple games with Coach Melrose before. You and I have never done it together, unfortunately, but that's okay. I was actually just listening back to the 2024 City Finals game when you called it with Coach Melrose there the other day, or a couple years ago, which is fantastic. So, anyways, I know you've done this before, and hopefully we can work on this together. But at least you and I know that we're no strangers to one another.
No,
we're good
not,
friends.
It's
so
great.
anyways, everybody can know that. But anyways, yeah, no, congratulations on the big win the other day. That was pretty amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, and hopefully one of these teams are going to come out with a win today. It's definitely going to be interesting to see kind of the cat and mouse game of how quickly these teams are going to make adjustments, especially at the U14 level. This Essex offense, like Coach Melrose mentioned, it runs through Boston Bedell, right? Number 2 and number 9, Josiah Florisi. So kind of seeing how creative they can be when getting those 2 players the ball. And then Kingston's kind of more of a team effort. So it'll be, again, interesting to see how these teams react and how they move forward.
Well, to your point, Dylan, is you've had the whole summertime, really from April during tryouts, to get a feel for your team, get a feel for each other. And, I guess we're going to stop for O Canada here in 1 second. But anyways, I mean, this is the cap on things. So you're going to put your best foot forward, your best players, and you're going to give a great effort to see how great you can be with, in a competitive environment like this.
for me, the national anthem is always when things got real, right? That's when you know, hey, captains are getting called out. You're going to figure out who's starting with the ball, and
It's game time.
exactly.
It's game time. Well, I mean, we are blessed with, I'm sure you guys just spoke about it, but we're blessed with a really beautiful day here at Western University here in London. So, I mean, you are not going to get any better weather than this to kind of put your best foot forward and see how your athletes actually are. That we're not going to be fighting the elements, which is fantastic. I will say again, if I can, just before we even get started, I'm used to doing this with Coach Melrose up in the booth at Lucas High School.
Yeah.
It's just him doing it, and I'm standing there like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
There's a whole professional operation here. This is amazing. I love it. I've never done it up here before. So, anyways, just this is so cool to see. What an amazing production for these kids and for the people watching at home.
Absolutely, a little bit different from our A channel
Yes.
back in the day, right? So
Exactly.
it's great to have all this content and the cameras available as we got the I almost called it mid center field. we got the coin toss view here. As we get this game kicked off, I mentioned at Western University here in London, Ontario, the Essex Ravens versus the Kingston Grenadiers. Two programs that have been in the OSFL back in the day, OVFL for a long time.
That's right.
So, they're definitely no strangers to one another.
Well, powerhouse programs that are to your point, no strangers to one another and no strangers to playing this late into the summer, towards the end of July at this point. So, this is going to be a great opportunity for each team to, compete and put a cap on their season. And to your point, you were just talking about some of the players and the way in which these teams differ. I mean, you've had the entire season, you've had the entire summer and really backing up into the spring to be prepared for this moment. And I mean, it's a pretty exciting time. So it's pretty it's a pretty great thing to see all these parents making the trip. I can't, all these people from Kingston. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just, welcome to London, and we're so excited to be able to be here to talk to you all today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, that's for sure. As we're looking at Kingston's going to be receiving the ball to start the game. So we'll see this offense where, they do some different things on the offense that traditionally, you're not going to see a lot at the U14 level. But that's what I love about this age group, right? You can have stuff that's been installed since week 2 or 3, but you haven't had the right moment to run it. And like you mentioned, this is the culmination of their season. So you don't leave anything out you don't leave anything. You want to put it all out there, put it all on the table, and make sure there's no regrets by the end of the game.
Absolutely. And it's so funny to see, again, from my outsider perspective, I don't coach at this age group and I don't coach in the summer. But I do coach high school and really with some of the more senior kids. And even at that level, you're looking at, this is a big, proper CFL size field. This is what you can do at this level is very interesting to see, the kind of innovation, what kind of fundamentals are you working on, but also how are you kind of trying to take advantage of things that maybe you can't do at the higher level. So it is fun. Football is a game where you can do so many things. The rules are, it's just a game. You can manipulate the rules the way you want to. And each of these teams and any team can really get to show what they want to do and really kind of make it interesting for all of us. So it'll be really fun to watch and see how these kids progress moving forward.
Absolutely, especially moving forward into those older age groups that we'll cover later today in the different games. That it's interesting to see how a group of kids can move up through a program and how that program adjusts to them.
Yes.
Right? Like even we saw last weekend in the not necessarily streamed, but those who were here last weekend, the Durham versus London matchup, where London running that traditional double wing offense, right? You don't see that in Canadian football hardly ever, right? So, like you said, it's creative. You can push the boundaries a little bit. The kids aren't worried about schoolwork or any sort of school responsibilities in the fall, so they can. A lot of them really lock in on that football aspect. So, yeah, definitely some things that you won't see at the high school level.
Yeah, and many of these kids, again, this level, of course, is a higher level of competition than what they're going to get at their high schools and what they're used to in the fall. So this is kind of the capstone for many of these programs. I know a number of these kids are, they're like I said, there's a whole spectrum of competitiveness at the high school level, but here you never know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. So
absolutely, as Essex looks to kick off the ball here, I believe that's number 7, Mason Pylon, that's 75. Cade kicking off the ball there, going off to our far sideline as the ball bounces a couple times and is picked up by returner number 0 as he's wrapped up and pushed back by a host or an unkindness of Ravens coming down at the 15-yard line as Kingston looks to come out on offense.
It looked like that ball was going to be kicked off out of bounds for a minute, but it kind of just trickled and stayed in. And what you don't want to do as a returner is make it close. And so you want to grab that ball and kind of pick it up. Otherwise, you never know if the kicking team is going to be able to pick it up before it goes out of bounds. So unfortunately, it's going to be first and 10 at the 18 instead of a lot further closer to midfield.
Yeah, and this Kingston offense, again, you'll see a lot of things that are slightly different, right? They don't traditionally come out with, an H back, or they'll have a lot of these receivers start in the backfield and then motion out. But yeah, they want to condense things and force you to make some mistakes, right? Just as they, we traditionally would call it like a scramble, right? Because you're going to just have the motion at the last moment as the quarterback drops back. Screen pass thrown to number 0 as he has an edge onto the outside. Looks to break a tackle. He's going up the sideline, 40, 45, 50, and is pushed out of bounds at about the 52-yard line. Hey, that's a great start. You can't ask for anything better.
Well,
that's for sure.
What a great play. They motioned from the backfield. So many of their players were in the backfield, motioning out to quads to the field. And what they were waiting to see was, is Essex going to adapt? How are they going to move? Which guys are going to fly out? Is it going to be a backer? Is it going to be a safety? But as we always say, Dylan, most of the time at this level, there's no adjustment at all. That's just what happens. So the kids are forgetting or something. So they throw the hitch out. They have 3 receivers blocking 2 guys in front of them, and they're able to make a huge gain there. So it's all a numbers game there. Back to quads.
Yeah, and that was Noah Pedlar with the reception. It's interesting they even bring the receiver into play as a tight end. So there's no wide receiver towards the field as they look to hand the ball off to the running back here, who does get a little bit tripped up by the turf monster there and goes only for a short gain there, second and about 7.
They try and run a what we call a go, which is just that guard outside, that to the boundary. That guard pulls out, but looked like the running back just tripped up. I'm not sure if he was even any contact on that, or if he just kind of tripped up maybe on his on the turf, or it was on the heels of one of his linemen. But anyways, we got a 2nd and 9, it looks like.
Yeah, and again, that quads to the boundary look that we saw already a few times. It puts the defense in a bind, right? Because if you commit too many defenders to that area, then you're leaving the field short, right? So
absolutely, but it just looks like the field half doesn't rotate over right now. It's just kind of sitting there, and you have 2 safeties high. So it's kind of, they are definitely overloading them to the boundary, and I'm not seeing some adjustments. Looks like the Will backer's bumping out, but in any case, they just try a deep shot there. It doesn't work, but we're on to 3rd and 9.
Yeah, number 16 there got a little bit bumped up on the route. The timing was just a little bit off, but again, nice impressive throw from the quarterback, showing that, hey, I can push you guys deep down the field. You do have to respect my arm. As we go, looking like it's quads to the field now. 4 receivers there, 1 back in the backfield, 1 receiver to the boundary. Quarterback drops back. Screen pass to the running back as he looks to gain the first down yardage. It looks like he does to the Essex 47 there, 48, as it looks to be first down Kingston as they continue this drive.
It looks like Essex is playing with 2 linebackers and 2 safeties up high. Which is, of course, something you're going to want to do if you're looking for, to protect against the pass. And so they kind of drop back, have everybody drop, and they try and throw a little bit of a screen play to the boundary. And it worked there, even though it's 4th and very, very short.
4th and short in the Canadian game, of course, you got to give a yard. So it's almost the easiest play in football, right? Well, it's an attitude play, right?
It looked pretty good there. So we got the first down.
It looks like the quarterback sneak, first down for the Grenadiers there as they continue the drive. And then to your point, that 4-2-6 look where you have 6 DBs on the field, you still need to get pressure. You need to have some impact from the 4 down linemen, right? There's a lot of pressure that you put on those 4 athletes to try and get pressure without sending any additional pressure. But Kingston's getting this ball out really fast. So
yes.
it's going to be difficult for them to make a bigger impact when they're getting the ball out so quickly.
If you look at that boundary half here, he's just kind of covering nobody. But again, another hitch pass out to the field with 4 receivers. They have numbers out there, and that's why it looks so good for them when they run this play.
Yeah, it's definitely consistent. It looks like no flags on the play. That's good. But yeah, that hitch there, that little wide receiver screen or wide receiver hitch screen that they're running, definitely effective. And if you're not going to have the manpower to match it, we talked about it yesterday. You run it until they stop it, right?
Exactly.
Especially in the championship game. You're not pulling any cards. You're not holding any cards. You're not saving anything, right?
Right.
Run it until
Exactly.
they stop it.
Well, that's a good, offensive mind and a good offensive strategy. Of course, you got to see what the defense is giving you, and you got to take it. So we keep coming out in this quads look with Kingston, so they got to continue to take advantage of it if they can.
Yeah, it looks like they've adjusted to that single high look, but again, that wide receiver screen, but they hand the ball off to number 26, who looks to have gotten about 10 yards there, or 9 yards there. Let's see if they get the first down. Looks to be second and short. It's so nice as an offense, especially at this level, because I believe it's 4-down football here with the U14 at the U14 level. You can come out and just run stuff just to run stuff, right?
Right.
just to have it listed and make sure that teams have to prepare for it. So putting yourself in a second and short, knowing that you have potentially 3 more downs to get it is always good. It puts you ahead of the script. As we look to see a handoff, that go play that we discussed earlier allows them to pick up about 5 or 6 on the gain here. Puts them into, this is where you start to get a little bit nervous as a defense, right? You're in the red zone, so to speak, and the team's been driving, they've been pushing, there hasn't been much resistance, and they're looking to score, and you're getting a little apprehensive and trying to make a play when just have to remember your responsibility.
Well, it looks like they're adjusting those safeties over to the quads side now. But again, when we see a 4-2 defense, Dylan, maybe it's just you and me being the offensive lineman. We just want to sit there and run the ball.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like Kingston's doing now. But there's some additional pressure that Essex has brought down in the backfield. I believe that was number 90 from the Ravens, Dominic Owen Mayu with the tackle in the backfield.
A little bit of pressure from the backside. It looks like they're keeping 7 in the box this time. So they're making some defensive adjustments after the fact. And now we're inside the 15-yard line, and it's about a 2nd and 11. But, this is where it's make or break. This will be a big, big play if we can convert and get these 6 points.
Yeah, and then we're looking at a 32 look here. 3 receivers of the field, 2 to the boundary. Quarterback is barking out the cadence. He snaps the ball. Quick pass out to the outside. It's completed. And he's looking, just short of the end zone here as he is tripped up by the DB out there.
It looks like it'll be a first down, though, Dylan. It was 1st and 10, even though it was so close to the goal line. So it'll be a 1st and goal now. Looks like at the 1-yard line. Great spot to be in if you're Kingston.
Absolutely, right? No, of course you want to score there, but thinking as a coach, all right, I got 4 more downs.
Absolutely.
Right? It's definitely nice to want to be in there. Be in that situation. I could definitely see them running either that wide receiver screen or that go play with the guard, trying to get outside. Especially just because of how much success they've had with it. But looking like the quarterback sneak's going to come in there as number 9 looks to push himself into the end zone. And we'll see if we get word.
Looks to be just short.
Yeah, it looks like they weren't able to get into the end zone. Great job by the officials there.
Essex adjustment doesn't look like I don't want to say a proper, but a traditional goal line adjustment. Looks like they're keeping that field half out, kind of covering, grass there, and we're keeping 4 down linemen inside. So it's kind of a miracle that they stopped that, but we'll see what they do. I'll bet you Kingston comes right back to it again right now.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Yeah, as they come back to it, as he's rolling into the end zone, that's touchdown, Grenadiers, as Kingston puts the first points on the board for this U14 AAA KJ Kennedy Cup final between the Kingston Grenadiers and Essex Ravens. Not much resistance from the defensive side of the ball.
Well, you know what? Great individual efforts from Essex there. It looks like there was some pretty good preparation and scheme coming out from Kingston. That entire drive, they were in quads, either to the field or the boundary. And, of course, when we're talking quads, we're talking about 4 receivers out to one side of the field. Dylan, they have 1 running back in the backfield, 5 wide receivers, 4 of them being on one side. That gives you a lot of options depending on the adjustment from the defense. And quite frankly, there's a lot of things you can do right in that formation, and there's a lot of things you could do wrong. Kingston did a lot of things right, running those hitch screens to the wide receivers, running away from that quads look to try and trap them and surprise them. And they sustained a very significant drive, including a 4th down conversion near midfield. I mean, an early 6-0 lead. It looks like the offense is pretty prepared from Kingston. It'll be interesting to see how Essex adjusts, because they're definitely going to need to adjust schematically on defense here.
And not just adjusting schematically, like that took up the majority of the first quarter, right? There's only 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first, and one of the best ways to play defense is to make sure their offense is not on the field,
Exactly.
right? So, with the talent that Essex has on offense, to keep them off the field for that long is a win in itself for Kingston.
Absolutely. So Essex will get the ball here, barring any uncertainty or any surprises. And so they will definitely have to match this. But, that was a very impressive drive by Kingston. I'll be interested to see if they make any adjustments themselves on offense. I doubt it for now. I think they'll maybe be predicting what Essex does next time. But you know what? Now it's the offense's turn for Essex, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, little squib kick to try and get it over top of that second row returner as he catches the ball cleanly, but unfortunately doesn't gain a lot of yards. But better starting field position than Kingston, right? Less of the field that you have to drive, and especially with less time in that first quarter. Field position definitely matters in the Canadian game.
Well, we used to say when we were playing at Western here, anytime you could start a drive on the purple, right in the midfield there, and your guy's standing there, you're in a good position. But let's be clear here. That was a good football play by the guy who's catching the ball there by Essex. That's not the traditional returner. He caught it with his hands above his head. That's a pretty good play that made a big difference. If that goes by him, who knows where they're starting.
Exactly, right? Yeah, it potentially doesn't even go out of bounds as it looks like a bobbled snap by the quarterback, as there looks to be a short gain as Kingston sent some pressure there. That is Josiah Florisi, the quarterback, bobbled the snap there. Looking to rebound on 2nd and 10 now. Looks like there may have been a short gain, but looks to be 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line.
Fumbled snap. Good that there's no disaster there. More of a traditional look here from Essex. We'll see.
Yeah, the I formation as he hands off to Bedell. Flag flies on the far sideline there from our perspective as Bedell picks up. Looks to be about 5 yards there, but we'll see what the flag is. As we reference from the London Football Officials Association, our official signals as they look to face us, and we'll see what the call is. It's almost like a bingo card.
I love it. It looks pretty good. I wish everybody could see this.
Yeah, it's great.
What do we got here? Looks like a penalty on Kingston.
Yep.
I missed the signal, unfortunately, but it looks like it'll favor Essex, and we're moving the ball forward, and it'll be 1st and 10 on Kingston 54-yard line, just past center ice, as they say on the streets.
Yeah. Look to be offside by the defense or lining up in the neutral zone for the defense there.
Just a traditional half or a fullback lead, kind of an ISO play up the middle from a 2x2 look from Essex. Something that is not uncommon from these Essex Ravens. Running the ball, establishing it early, and trying to establish a little bit of physicality on the front line. So they made a good play there. Obviously, there's a signal as to what they want to do here. So we'll see what kind of response we get.
Yeah, and that's what you'll find with mentioning, running the ball and setting the tone physically for the game. You'll find that a lot with any Essex team that you play against, whether it's U14, U16, U18. They're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to get in your face early and often and wear you down as the game goes on. As it looks like another handoff to Boston there for a short gain as it's 2nd down and 8 upcoming for the Ravens.
They look like a fullback ISO, fullback lead the other way this time to the boundary, and the boundary end looked like he was unblocked. And sometimes you just want to sneak it underneath him and see if you can get that, but not that time. He was able to collapse on it and make the play for a short gain.
As we look to see some motion here, as it looks to be a counter play as it's handed off to number 11 as he gets to the outside there. Few tacklers as he's pushed out of bounds on the Kingston 45-yard line. He looks to be about a yard short as it looks to be 3rd down. Looks to be 2 yards short as it's 3rd down and 2 here for the Ravens upcoming. That was number 11, Idris El Sayed, as the running back there.
You see a kind of a counter sweep look where you had fullback action one way and then kind of countering back the other way with both pulling guards. It reminds me of those old days when you just say, read the guard, and that took you right where the ball went, and that's what worked.
As it looks to be another handoff to El Sayed again as they pick up the 1st down. Ravens 1st down on the Kingston 43. Yeah, that traditional football, follow the guards, right? We both have a ton of experience being that guard in those spots. So, yeah, it can be difficult. You pull around expecting to see your guy, and there just comes a linebacker out of nowhere.
Dylan Sherville, one of the best pulling guards I've ever seen at his level. Just for those listening at home, we've got a highlight film that's pretty physical, if we could say that, Dylan. Just a little bit physical.
Just a little, right? I learned from the best as I got to play beside Coach Caranci here during our time at CCH. So a lot of good things to learn from. Take a page out of his book, and he's no slouch either. That's learn from the best.
They just ran it again there, kind of another counter with the fullback going one way and countering back with both pulling guards coming now towards us. They end up getting another 3 yards in a cloud of turf, as it were. So good fundamental basics running the ball here.
Yeah, and that's Boston back in the game here as it looks to be another bobbled snap by the quarterback as he looks to get outside after the fumbled snap, but unfortunately is tackled in the backfield. Not sure what the plural for Grenadiers, I guess, by a group of Grenadiers in the backfield, as it looks to be 3rd and about 9 for the Ravens upcoming here. From what we've seen, that traditional I formation may create some problems when you get behind the sticks, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had 2nd and 7, now you're 3rd and about 8.5 because you fumbled the snap. So you got to really secure that ball.
Absolutely. Looks like to be that counter sweep there as Boston breaks a few tackles, but is held on to by a few Grenadiers. It looks to be 4th and about 4 here upcoming for the Ravens. I love, we say that special teams is a third of the game. But at what point do you trust your offense here to go and get the 4 yards?
Well, I mean, I think I trust them a lot more on Kingston's 35-yard line than their own 35-yard line. You might want to do it. But also Kingston just showed that they could run the field from their own 18. So, this is a big play.
Absolutely. Big play early on as it does look to be a handoff to Boston, who looks to have been wrapped up short of the first down. Let's see where they spot it, as the officials definitely have a better view than we do from up here, but
he looks to be about a half yard short.
Like he was short, yeah. So it looks like they'll bring out the Chang gang here and see where they're measuring up, potentially.
I think he needed to get right to the 32-yard line, and he looks like about a half yard short. They might bring out the gang. I doubt it, though. I think they're just going to say first down Kingston.
Yep, there it is. The marking is first down Kingston as they get a stop here, up 7-0 with 37 seconds left to go in the first quarter of this U14AAA KJ Academy Cup between the Kingston Grenadiers and the Essex Ravens here at Western University in London, Ontario.
Well, Dylan, I think they had a great drive there. They were running the ball, establishing the ground game, physical up front, forcing Kingston to respond. And what was the difference? A small error in the logistics, which at this point in the season has very difficult consequences. That was a 2nd and 7 that turned to about a 3rd and 9. You gained about 9 yards on your 4 or 5 yards on your 3rd down play, then another 4 or 5 on your 4th down play. But hey, it just wouldn't have. If you don't fumble that snap, it doesn't happen. So small mistakes, but that's okay. You got to rebound. That's football. So we got to keep going.
Yeah, it's the mental mistakes, right? The self-inflicted wounds, right? That every coach doesn't like to talk about, but they do happen. As we look to see a pass from Kingston here, as there looked to have been some potential contact or an imbalance from that receiver that was potentially running that corner route. Good ball placement from this quarterback. I'm very impressed. I believe it's number 9 for the Grenadiers, and that is Joseph Blanchette. Great
that
ball.
Was looked like, again, that 4-by-1 quads look, 4 receivers to the boundary, and it looked like the running back was getting out of the backfield. If you'd need another receiver out there, you already have 5, that running back was getting out early, trying to run a wheel. It looked like he might have had him. He just tripped up with his feet. So we got 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it's looking like 7-on-7 out there for what Kingston's throwing the ball, and they look to throw that screen again to the backfield as he does catch the ball and runs upfield. It is still rumbling for looks to be a 9-yard gain here, potentially a first down for the Grenadiers. They're just willing and able to throw that screen. I love it, right? Get the defense off guard, slow up the defensive linemen who are already aggressive enough from wanting to get that sack. They're not getting there fast enough as Kingston's throwing the ball rather quickly. So love taking advantage of the aggressiveness from the defense.
That second straight screen pass in the second screen pass of the first quarter. Shout out to my buddy Terrence Sapp, who was a defensive lineman for us at CCH last year, who never let us get away with a screen in practice. He was always patient. Some say very controversial. Some say he was stealing signals from Coach Howard on the sideline during practice. But, I mean, that's a very controversial statement. But the point is, those defensive linemen, when they're pretty eager to get upfield, they're letting that running back kind of slip in behind. and they're not able to do that. But I mean, it's tough. You've got all those guys blocking, especially when you're running screen towards the quads. You've got 4 receivers blocking. You're releasing another 3 linemen out there. I mean, it's chaos. So they get that. It looks like a first down again on a screenplay.
Yeah, we transitioned over to the second quarter here with Kingston having the ball at their own 43-yard line, driving, looking to score here to start the second quarter. Both teams still have all their timeouts, and Kingston is up 7-0 right now as they come out with 3 receivers to the field, 2 to the boundary, one back in there. As the snap is taken, handoff, and looks to be stuffed in the backfield by, I believe that's number 90 for the Ravens. I believe that's number 90 for the Ravens there with the tackle. That's Owen Mayu looking to make a difference and put Kingston behind the sticks on this drive.
I think it was actually 95 now that I get a second look at it. It looks like he was just unblocked right up the middle, and so just a missed assignment, but you have to take advantage of that when you're unblocked as a defensive lineman, and he did exactly that. So excellent work.
Correct. No, here we go. 6 receivers
Empty,
wide
baby.
here. Completely empty. The whole air raid here. Snap back, quarterback drops back, looks to throw it down the field as it looks to be
Picked
off by the Ravens. And that he's returning it towards the near sideline. I believe that is number 2. That's Biddell Boston with the interception. Calling his name a lot on offense. Looks to make an impact and get his team the ball back on defense.
Pretty great play. I mean, you go empty. You're obviously passing the ball unless you're running some sort of draw. But the point is you run 2 speed outs from those inside slot receivers. They end up just throwing a fade to the number 1 receiver to that side and makes a great play. The corner makes a great play. It was just a jump ball, 50-50 ball, and number 2 comes down with it with an excellent play. That's the kind of turnover you're looking for when you take an early 7-0 deficit. You need something like that to provide a spark.
And Essex coming out with their own unique formation with the bunch look towards the field here as they look to as unfortunately gets stuffed in the backfield there after the handoff to El Said there. Unfortunately, don't want to get put behind the sticks, but second down and long here for the Ravens.
Well, that bunch look up to the top of the screen. There's 3 receivers and only 2 guys covering them. So, again, we look at that. You're playing the numbers game. They come right back to the formation. I would not be surprised to see a bit of a hitch screen there if you're looking at those numbers.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do, right? Unfortunately, ball's a little bit too high. Believe that was thrown forward as a forward pass. Now, if we could get a quick replay there of that formation, when we see that bunch look here, ultimately you'd love to run something where you get a vertical route and then maybe something going outside and then something transitioning going inside. Create some indecision and basically look to see who's not covered from that trio.
It looked like 2 of those receivers went to block the same guy across from them, unfortunately. So 24 on Kingston was uncovered. It was a good play concept, more of a bubble instead of a comeback hitch screen. But anyways, I mean, it was a good concept, but we're 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9, and Essex drops back to pass here. A little running back screen here, tackled in the backfield. Looks to be a 4th and 10 now for the Ravens. You had numbers on towards the field there. Taking a page out of Kingston's book, bringing the 4 wide receivers to the field.
They tried to run a screen, so there you have 3 plays in a row. Number 1, you have a good look. You see how they adjust to bunch, and you run the ball up the middle. Second play, you like the adjustment. You throw that kind of bubble screen. It just is incomplete. That's life. That's football. Mm-hmm. Now it's 3rd and 9. You throw the screen, doesn't go anywhere. You got to punt. Understand the concept. I understand where the offensive coordinator's head is at. And you just got to be able to put that in the bank, move on, and hopefully your defense can get another stop.
Yeah, hopefully. And when you do eventually come back to that, right, you do want to take advantage of the numbers game, right? Ultimately, football is a numbers game. That's why, you see a lot of the pulling guards and the motions and everything like that. So coming back to that, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, right? Maybe run something different on the screen or have some different passing concepts out of that bunch look, and hopefully they can take advantage of it.
But kudos to Kingston for making a good defensive stand, forcing a 3 and out after a turnover like that. You never know, like we said, the momentum that could switch and what kind of consequences there are after an interception like that, what kind of spark it can provide a team like Essex. But hey, Kingston defense comes out, they say it's our turn, and they force the 3 and out. So they get the ball back on the purple, as we say, right on the 50-yard line, and they're going to have a really good chance to do something good here.
Absolutely, especially coming back out, quarterback after they just threw an interception. You got to trust in the kid still, right? He's gotten you a lead so far. Keep throwing the ball, keep on airing it out, and let's see what this Kingston offense wants to do as they end up getting the defensive jump offside, looking at that jump ball there. Unfortunately, just a little bit short of the receiver. I like the ball placement, though.
That's that old Hank
Right?
play we used to call where you try and force them offside, get the defense to jump offside, which they do. You snap the ball once they jump offside, and you get a free play. So they tried to throw a deep bomb there. It was just a little bit underthrown, which is fine, but ultimately they're going to get a 5-yard penalty, and it's going to be 1st and 5.
And between you and I and, all the people watching the stream now, I don't quite understand why they call it a Hank. I know it's for Hank Williams, right?
Yeah.
But, don't understand the relation. I tried to talk to Bruno DeSando about this last week, and I don't really remember his answer. We'll probably get it later today. But, it's universal.
We'll see if somebody
can.
I know the answer to it. It's maybe a little PG-13, but we'll see. That's okay. I think
no
it's
worries.
fine. What a run here!
Yeah, what a run here by number 10, coming out, running from field to boundary, and it looks to be like he's going to potentially finish it off here. What a run by number 10 from Kingston. That is Nathan Orticello for the touchdown, and that puts the Grenadiers up 13-0 pending the extra point.
Fantastic play. You had a couple pullers, just like a classic counter H look where you had the backside guard and the H pulling. You had such good movement on the defensive line. Running back was able to get almost to the second level untouched so that he can make his magic and cut back. You don't often see, unless the blocking is so good and executed so well, you don't often see a lot of cutbacks after 5 yards on a play like that, because you're really just moving bodies to the point of attack. But he's such a special running back that made such a great play. I mean, that's a game breaker play. That's very good. You're putting a ball in the hands of one of your best players, and you're having your blockers also do a pretty great job up front. So that's a 2-touchdown lead here, maybe midway or close to midway through the second quarter for Kingston. Pretty great play.
Yeah, just phenomenal run overall, right? And what's even more important about that run is that the blocking on the backside was so good that the backside defenders still weren't able to catch up to him. He was able to press the edge, get to the hole, and then cut it back because there was no real backside presence.
Well, and that's just good fundamental blocking by the offensive line and really everybody, including the receivers. Once the running back gets out in space, the receivers blocking is as important as the offensive line blocking. And, I mean, we talk about this all the time. You want to spot on the football field. You're trying to play good football. You need to block and you need to tackle, and that was really well done by the team. You're giving your best player or one of your best players an opportunity to do something special and make a couple people miss when he's not having to make 4 people miss, only 1 or 2. So what an amazing play.
Absolutely, for sure. That old the GT counter with the receiver coming through. So that was something special to see. As Kingston looks to have that short kick once again, and it's caught by number 22 again, hands above his head. Good catch by the returner as he gets some yards there. Again, starting in the purple.
Sure is, and I mean I can't say this. I'm going to say it again.
That's a hard catch.
That catch was pretty amazing. It's a ball kick. It's not a spiral. It's right above his head. I mean for a kid like that to make that catch and get upfield, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm sure they've got the scouting report as everybody has that that Kingston's gonna make that kick, and they've got somebody that has good hands making that play. But the difference between making that catch and not making that catch, if the ball doesn't go out of bounds, of course, is like maybe 30 or 40 yards. Like that's a huge play.
Yeah, and that's Marseilles Hurst with the catch on the play.
Back to that bunch look where they throw a bit of a hitch or a quick hook the other way for a first down. Good play.
Yeah, that's caught by number 81 for the Ravens. That is Landon Weigel on the reception. That's first down for the Ravens as they're moving the ball now.
I have to say, Nathan Orticello. I gotta love a Nathan with an Italian last name. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a special kinship with somebody like that. So congrats to that young man on that big run.
Yeah, still a great run as it looks to be a two tight end set here as Boston gets the ball here. Boston Bedell gets the ball here. It picks up about 5 or 6 yards.
If Essex can do that, run double tight with a fullback and continue to run the ball, get their 5 yards per carry, give or take, not fumble the snap, lean in on their physicality and wear down this Kingston defense. That is, I mean, that's just poetry. I would love to see that all game long. I think everybody would. Kingston, I'm not so sure would like to see that, but they're going to have to make some adjustments of their own. So, pretty interesting plays here by the Essex Ravens.
Oh,
Wide
beautiful.
open.
Wide open. Oh, why did he stop running?
Unbelievable.
So,
That's all right. That's a good,
The
great
scheme's
ball.
there.
Good route, a good kind of fake bubble screenplay to that bunch look, a great wrinkle out of that formation that was working earlier. Kingston's defense, and you could look at them talking about it right now, made a bit of an error. They thought, hey, they assumed they see that bubble action by that receiver, and they said, oh, we got to come downhill and make the play. Well, guess what? We're also allowed to fake block you and run in behind. You missed the throw, missed the catch. That's fine. We got to move on.
Especially because they technically have numbers, right? As snap goes back to the quarterback, looks to throw the ball out to the flat, and unfortunately it's incomplete. Receiver that was intended was number 80, Elijah Fournier, as Florisi just unfortunately put a little bit too far ahead of him. But again, I like the concepts here, right? Like they're looking to get the ball out where they have numbers. They're making some adjustments and some wrinkles. Just unfortunately, minor execution mistakes.
And you know what I like personally? And again, I'm just seeing from up here. I'm seeing the offensive coordinator. I'm seeing the demeanor of the coaching staff. And they're seeing the positives in those things. Okay, you're 4th and 5. It looks like a timeout on the field. You can be super frustrated with a miss like that. But you understand more than the frustration of not catching that ball. Okay, we know we had it. We made a good call. We put the kids in the best position to be successful. There's a mistake. Or just didn't execute in this play. We have to move on. What's the next thing we can do to put these kids in a position? Let's not lament these these mistakes. Let's say, wow, great effort. Let's move on. It's a long game. We had the right call. What's the next right call? We got to move on from there.
Absolutely, right? You can't dwell on the mistakes, especially in games like this, right? Like, you have an opportunity to put a score on the board, potentially before the end of the first half, right? Put yourself within a score, and you know that, you're getting the ball to start the second half as well. So, you could potentially go they like to call it a 2-for-1 here. You're trying to win the middle 8, as a lot
Looks
of
like
coaches
they
like
want
to
to do
say.
a quick snap here. 3-by-2.
Florisi
Oh, he's
rolling
got
out
him
to his
deep.
right, looking like he has to escape the pocket. Looks to dodge a couple of the defenders there as he picks up. Looks like he's picked up the first down.
Great play. He had the seam route from the number 2 receiver to the 3 receiver side, but that's fine. He escaped. He uses athleticism, and you convert a 4th and 5. That's a great play. You got to keep the sticks moving. It would be huge to be able to convert and score here. So keeping that drive alive is the name of the game, and pretty impressive effort.
Absolutely, especially when you get out to, those types of moments. It's 4th and 5. It's kind of do or die there, right? What kind of decisions are you going to make? Are kids going to rise to the occasion? And they certainly did. As Florisi looks to drop back to pass here, rolls out to his right once again, throws the ball down the field. Looks like it's completed, and I believe that's to number 2 again. That's Boston Bedell with the reception. As again, they lined him up all over the field, so not surprised that he's getting the ball here in this situation. As looks to be another first down for Essex, and they're driving.
Very athletic. We talked about that dual threat quarterback there. It looked like the running back getting out to the flats. Quarterback rolls out, and he's able to find his running back for another first down. So now you're 1st and 10 inside the 20, exactly where you want to be. And, listen, they went to double tight. Now they're in 5 receivers. Pretty diverse look here from these Essex Ravens.
Definitely, especially when you get a bigger receiver out there, number 75 for the Ravens, looking to line up there. That's Cade Tuznant. My apologies if there's any pronunciation errors there. But again, thrown just a little bit above his head, but the scheme was there. The concept was there.
Again, concept was there. We just missed the receiver a little bit high. That's okay. I mean, we gotta. It's good to make that mistake on 1st and 10. So we gotta move on here. But good concepts here. Good offensive scheme by Essex, and they are driving. In spite of these small errors, they're able to continue and understand it's a football game and it's a long game. So we got to continue and try and score here.
And the big thing is that they can still get a first down and reset the downs here. They don't have to necessarily score to break the first down. As looks to be some miscommunication in the backfield, and that's unfortunately what you don't want to have happen. As Farisi is sacked in the backfield by a group of Grenadiers, as that puts Essex at a 3rd and about 17, 18. Oh, wow, third and 20. So Yeah, definitely not the situation you want to find yourself in. But great pressure by Kingston. A lot of great pass rush moves from the interior defensive lineman there that freed up the linebackers to get some extra pressure.
Well, you've now got a 3rd and 20. It looked like the quarterback was trying to get out of the pocket, make some magic with his feet as he's done already. But, that's not where your blockers are, and that's not where the protection is. So 3rd and 20.
Yeah, the call sheet doesn't have very many plays for what looks to be a 3rd and 20 as Farisi looks to throw the ball up, and unfortunately it is picked off as the receiver slipped as the Grenadiers look to return this one up the far sideline as they're breaking a couple tacklers here as the offensive lineman also is unable to bring him down, and Kingston ends up with an interception to getting the turnover and starting on the Essex 50-yard line. Again, starting in the purple.
Very frustrating series of events there for Essex, but really a great defensive play by the cornerback to the boundary there. He identified very early that it was a bit of an underthrown ball, which is okay. Underthrown balls happen, but he saw it, and unfortunately the receiver fell down. I'm not sure if he got tripped up on the turf or in the feet, but he caught that ball and he brought it back the corner caught that ball and brought it back. Obviously frustrating. But Essex, there was good things that happened on that drive. Obviously, it didn't finish well. Very unfortunate. But now we're talking about an opportunity. Kingston has an opportunity to do something very big here and go up 3 scores before the end of the half.
And that was Griffin Scott with the interception there for the Grenadiers. Big play from the young man there. As again, you mentioned, Kingston's looking to come out here and potentially go up 3 scores before the end of the first half as they do hand the ball off to run here as it ends up getting stuffed by a couple or an unkindness. I'll say that a lot of Ravens today as it looks to be 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Grenadiers.
Just a bit of a hand up right up the middle. We had a little bit of action, a little bit of, sauce from the receivers there trying to diversify their looks, run up the middle, and they didn't get anywhere. So 2nd and 10.
Yeah, we like to call that eye candy, right? It's a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily do much for the offense, but for the defense, it can cause some problems. Looks to be 5 receivers again, running back towards the 2 receiver side. Quarterback drops back to pass. Wow, wide open catch for number 18 from the Grenadiers. It's Mason Coyle with the reception. Just an amazing concept that they ran there, right? They had the 1 receiver running out to the flat, 1 going deep, and then the outside receiver running it in. So stresses them a lot on the defensive side of the ball when you have to cover that much area.
Yeah, that half comes down on that flat, that second receiver that's coming out to the flats. And when you have 2 safeties high and you only have those 2 backers, and one of them was blitzing, if I'm not mistaken, I missed the replay, but there's nobody in behind there. So kind of slant right in front of that safety, in front of that corner, a great play to get you a first down. Good concept, especially to run at this level. I mean, that's very impressive.
Yeah, you don't even see some U18 teams running concepts like that. So great to see that it's coming out at the U14 level as we see this quads to the boundary with the running back on the same side from Kingston. We've seen this quite a few times. They run that looks like a sweep play to the field as they pick up quite a few yards there. Looks like it could potentially be 2nd down and short here for the Grenadiers.
What Kingston's doing is responding to what Essex is giving them. They just run the ball up the middle there. That's great. Essex is having 2 safeties high, 2 safeties up high. They're rolling those safeties over to the 4 receiver side, but their backside half is kind of playing over top of nobody to the 1 receiver side. So what you can do there is you're either running the ball towards quads or you're running the ball up the middle because you still have 2 safeties high, or you're passing the ball to the quad side. And Kingston's been doing that very consistently. So, this is why they get a 2nd and short like this.
Yeah, it looks like there's been some adjustment made to try and slow down the running game for Kingston as Essex does bring in that third linebacker into the box there. As again, that running back screenplay towards the 3 receivers works well for them, and it looks to pick up a first down for the Grenadiers.
Linebacker Luke Spittle, number 43 for Essex. He sniffed out that screen pretty well. The running back made a miss, but I mean, he was able to slow things down and allow his defense to the rest of his defense to swarm. That's what we talk about. It's a game of inches. We talk about things that anything to slow players down. You can make mistakes or not make the tackle yourself, but you're making a huge difference in forcing the other team to do something that the rest of your team can respond to. I mean, 12 players on the field. It's organized chaos, and that was a really good play by Luke Spittle.
Yeah, as you do see 1st and 10 here for the Grenadiers as the refs do come together, have their little meeting, and 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first half at Western Alumni Stadium here in London, Ontario, or Western University Stadium here, as Kingston looks to have 3 receivers towards the field, 2 to the boundary, 1 running back in the backfield. Quarterback drops back to pass, sails the ball out towards the sideline. Looks to be, let's see this thing here. Caught.
What a catch.
What a catch by the wide receiver. I believe that was number 10, 18. Looking here, my apologies.
It is on the far side of the field in the
Yeah.
corner. We're doing our very best here. I got these prescription sunglasses on. Even I can't see him, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
he's getting out there. We just want to make sure we get the right receiver. Looked like to be a little exchange concept there. 16, there we go, 16, and that's Emerson Goodberry with the reception. I love that little exchange concept where you get the first and second receiver changing their routes.
Yes.
We're exchanging their positions on the field. It's not just static where they're at. So great job by Kingston to really put a lot of stress on this Essex DB group.
And fundamentally, Dylan, as we saw to actually make that catch and make that throw, we've seen Essex miss on a couple of those things. It's a big deal when you can actually hit them.
And it looks to be a handoff into the backfield and brought down in the backfield by a group of Ravens as Essex was prepared for that one, right?
Well,
they saw all the receivers condense down and fill the box. You got to match it.
Well, the guards were pulling to the field, and it looked like the handoff was to the boundary. So unless it was some sort of counter late, it looked like there might have been a bit of miscommunication as to what direction the play was going. And Dylan and I are no stranger to that. You think the ball's going to the right, and he ends up going to the left, and you block the wrong way, and all of a sudden something happens. So, I mean, not catastrophic. It's still second and goal at the 8-yard line, so they can adapt accordingly.
Yeah, and there is no opportunity. This is technically second and goal here, right? They don't have the opportunity to get the first down. It looks to be a rollout to the right here as pass is completed into the end zone. Touchdown, Grenadiers. That is Lachlan Jackson with the reception into the end zone as Kingston goes up 3 scores in the first half.
Great play action bootleg where you're giving action the other way as if the ball's being run towards the boundary, but for the quarterback to be rolling out to his strong side where he can throw the ball and then hit kind of a pretty flat corner from that kind of bunched set of receivers. You created space as a receiver, and the QB made the play on the run. You know, he's on the run, he throws the ball, puts it right on him, he catches it. I mean, that's a great executed play by this Kingston Grenadier team.
And the boot action, we hadn't seen that all game yet, right? So Kingston coming out and saying, hey, we've shown you, that go look. We've shown you the handoff towards the boundary. All right, let's boot off of it, show you something you haven't seen before yet.
Great, yeah, great. And you know what? Ultimately, this is the thing you want to see as a coach, and it just makes you so happy, is you've got these ideas, you've got this game plan, you've practiced it, you've gone through it, you have the confidence of your players are confident in you. Then all of a sudden you call the play and the players go out there and execute it very well. I mean, that's not easy. That's very, very well done, very well executed. And I tip my hat to him. I really do. And I think that Essex is doing the same thing. Unfortunately, Essex seems like they're playing a little bit better than to be down 21-0. But what I'm seeing is Kingston is taking advantage of their opportunities. They're making those catches, those big plays, and they're converting off of turnovers, whereas Essex is, calling great plays. They have excellent concepts. A ball is a little bit too high. There's a missed block here. There's smaller things. So I think this game is a little bit closer than the scoreboard suggests, which, hopefully is not going to be too demoralizing for Essex, that they can stay in this thing and realize, hey, listen, we're still in this.
Completely agree, right? The score is definitely not reflecting how tight this game actually is, right? And when we come down to it, it's about the mental mistakes. As there's a big booming kick that goes over the returner's head as he picks the ball up at about the 14-yard line and looks to make some space here, and is ultimately wrapped up, but still gains a few more yards down to the 25-yard line. It's the self-inflicted wounds, right, from Essex, whether it's the bobbled snaps or the, receivers tripping while they're tripping on the turf or falling down when the ball's in the air, right? And Kingston's had those errors as well with the interception, right? But Kingston's maximized on those errors.
Right.
Essex, unfortunately, is not. When it comes down to, as you mentioned before, a game of inches, you give an inch, sometimes teams take a mile.
Well,
right?
you talk about this all year, you experiencing it during the season, that these small mistakes have consequences. However, you have to realize we can fix this. Don't let these things compound on one another and make a bad things worse. I realize, oh, there's a fumbled snap, or hey, there was a bit of an overthrow here. We can fix those things. Let's get back to work. Let's try and keep this game close and see if we can put some points on the board with 44 seconds left in the first half.
Correct. It's definitely not scheme errors, right? Like they have the opportunities to move the ball. They've had their opportunities to punish the defense. As it looks like there is a floating pass from Florisi, and it looks like it was almost another interception, as both 89 from the Ravens and 17 from the Grenadiers look to high point that ball. Unfortunately, it lands on the turf.
Yeah, I see the concept. I see where they were throwing the ball. I think it was, maybe thrown, maybe not exactly. Oh, wow. Nice flyover.
I was going, hey, we're getting a flyover
God
there.
God bless. Salute.
Right?
Hats off to that one. We got the national anthem playing as the geese fly over the field. That was pretty special. But no, great play. There could have been an interception from that free safety drop ball, but that's okay. 2nd and 10.
It looked like that.
Double tight eye. Here we go,
double
Dylan.
Tight eye. This is the kind of football we want to play here. Hand off to Bedell Boston as he does break a tackle and ends up gaining himself about 6 yards here. Sets up to be 3rd down.
Dylan, we said it the last time that they were in this double tight eye formation, which is, 2 tight ends with a fullback in the backfield, just running the ball up the middle, not really pulling any guards. You have that. You just demonstrated you can get 6 yards on that. Before you demonstrated you get 5 yards of pop. The problem now is there's only 24 seconds left on the clock, so you're not going to be able to do this unless you just want to grind the clock out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's also just setting stuff up for the second half too, right? Showing them, hey, if we're gonna drive, we're gonna move the ball here. We want to show what you're gonna have to prep for in the second half.
Exactly, and I think that they ran that pass play to start the drive, and it was nearly intercepted. I think the coach is saying, listen, let's not make a bad thing worse. Let's get to the second half as best we can and make some adjustments at halftime, because clearly, again, if you make that throw, who's to say that the free safety is going to drop it again? Because if you make that interception, you're starting in Essex's end of the field. So 14 seconds left, and it looks like Essex is lined up to punt, which I'm sure they will do.
Looks like there may have been a timeout called from one of the sides there.
I would guess that Kingston called that timeout to save some time on the clock, give themselves an opportunity to get the ball back, at least a punt return. If I'm Essex, I'm trying to punt the ball out of bounds here just to, not play with fire, but we'll see what they do.
Looks to be a punt down the middle of the field, caught cleanly by the returner. Quite an impressive catch. That's number 6 running towards the far sideline. Looks to cut it up and is tackled by a group of Ravens there. 3 seconds left on the clock. I would assume you kind of just knee this one out, but you never know. You can still, with how well this quarterback has played, you can still take a shot to the end zone.
He's played very well. The receivers have made some plays. It doesn't look like a ton of enthusiasm. I don't mean that negatively. It doesn't look like they're itching to get out there and call a Hail Mary. But so I would expect that you're right, Dylan, taking a knee. But I mean, they have made some big plays with some, exchange concepts, things like that, trying to trick the secondary and mess with them. But looks like they're going to kneel it out. We're going to get to halftime.
Yeah, and that's Joseph Blanchette, the quarterback there, has had a very impressive first half, especially for a U14 quarterback there to air it out that much. Definitely impressive, especially for a team that played on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, that's nuts. Dylan, I remember, we played 3 games in 6 days once. That was my final time in high school, so we're no stranger to that. But here we are, 21-0. Things could not have really gone any better for Kingston in that first half, and I think Essex is trying to figure out how do we get sorted out here and make this a game.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, right, a lot of it is just their own mental mistakes or self-inflicted wounds, right? You clean up the snaps, you clean up the passing concepts, right? You utilize the numbers advantage that you have in your scheme, and things go a lot better for this Essex team in the second half, I think, right? You put yourself in a pretty deep hole, being down 21-0, right? You got to find yourself, 3 extra possessions, but I don't think that it's impossible, right? I definitely don't think it's impossible.
We've seen games, we've coached games, we've played in games where you've been down. And there are games when you're playing and you're losing and you're like, that team is so much better than us right now. There's nothing we're going to do to be able to do it. Now we're talking about Essex. I remember coaching in 2017 against the then Windsor AKO Fratman when I was coaching with the Beefeaters.
Yep.
We lost some big scores, and I remember sending the offense out there like, hey, this team's just like, well, I didn't say it to them, but we just knew they were that much better than us, and it's going to be really, really tough, and it was. This game, I don't feel like that. I feel that Essex is way better. This is a lot closer. They've had a drive. They've gotten all the way down the field, been in the red zone with a 1st and 10 against Kingston, made some mistakes to not convert on that, which was really big at the time. But, again, let's be honest. You'd rather be Kingston than Essex here. Kingston has done an extremely good job of establishing everything that they want to do, really executing on the concepts that they've introduced to try and mess with the defense of Essex. But, I'd want to be Kingston more than Essex right now, but this is a game that I'm not counting out. This is not a team in Kingston that's just going to overwhelm everybody with just, supreme – we're just a million times better than Essex. No, this game, these teams are very close talent-wise. We just need to see the execution shift if we want to see this become a bit of a closer game.
Absolutely, especially with that double tight end set that we were talking about of Essex, right? Wear them down in the second half. You might open up yourself to some more opportunities, for sure. But then when it does come down to is again execution, right? And Kingston has executed on their concepts that they have clearly practiced all year, as you've mentioned. But pregame is, their seasons have come to this culmination, right? Is they have run their concepts incredibly well. They know exactly what they want to do and when they want to do it, and they're executing on that with very little pushback from Essex. So not necessarily just the offense, but the defense as well is going to have to find ways to get another possession like that interception in the first half, or put Kingston behind the sticks instead of allowing them to be on schedule with their offense, right?
Well, it's a lot easier when you have a really good quarterback making the throws and executing and managing the game. It's a lot easier when your when your offensive linemen and receivers are blocking their tails off down the field and allowing some of your special players with the ball in their hand to make a massive kind of 50-yard run like Nathan Orticello did earlier in the game. When you have that level of execution and that level of talent, it's a pretty special thing to see. So great job by Kingston so far.
Fellas, I just want to thank you both for jumping in on this game. What a great call in the first half here, right? So pretty exciting, one little one-sided, but I tell you what, I'm going to let you guys catch your breath because I know you could talk football for the next 9 hours. But we'll take a quick break here on London Football TV. Coach Caranci, Coach Sherville joining us. Thank you again. We'll be back in about 8 minutes. And while you're at it, that QR code on the screen is for the Gridiron Gold 50/50. Obviously, the pot right now has risen up to $64,000. So a $10 ticket could win you $32,000 in that 50/50. So take advantage of that. We'll be back in 8 minutes. Welcome back to London Football TV. We are live all day today, all day tomorrow. Again, please remind your friends and family and loved ones that all the streams are free here on YouTube and for them to not get scammed by scam links on Facebook and other social media platforms where people are trying to rip you off. But speaking of not ripping you off, the Gridiron Gold 50/50 could win you right now $32,000 and $30 if you buy a $10 ticket. Scan that QR code on the screen. I want to thank Coach Sherville and Coach Caranci for jumping on for the first half. We've got quite a matchup here between the Kingston Grenadiers and the Essex Ravens. And gentlemen, I'm going to give it back to you as we get started here for third quarter action.
Yeah, and as we look to start the second half here, I believe Essex is going to be receiving the ball here. Ultimately, you want to come out and you want to score here, right? Set the tone, make your halftime adjustments come to fruition. But when you're down 21-0, you kind of have to find a way to buy a possession or two, especially because you don't want to run out of time.
Well, listen, this Essex Ravens team is well coached. They're organized. They're here for a reason. They've got excellent talent on their team. They're up against a very formidable Kingston Grenadiers team, as they always are. I don't know. I mean, again, Kingston has an opportunity to come out, make a stop, score early, and kind of put this game away. And quite frankly, if I'm their coaches, I'm telling them to their face, guys, don't let these guys hang around. If you let Essex score another or score here and open the scoring in the second half, I mean, there's no telling where that can go. So I really hope both teams just kind of keep going and we could see a little bit better execution from Essex and they don't let these mistakes compound. But I really think we're going to be in for a better outcome in the second half, both sides.
Absolutely, for sure. Especially when those coaches make those halftime adjustments, and as we get a big booming kickoff here that hits the turf for the Ravens, as El Said does end up picking up the ball and running and returning there. Looks like there's a flag flying. Yet looks like for a push in the rear from number 75, and that's unfortunately the. You hate to see it.
Great. Well, listen, great run back from El Said. He can't control the players on the field. That's the kind of special thing you're looking for to start the second half. An amazing play by that young man. A couple illegal blocks, definitely, that we saw on the field. So this ball will be called back. But again, if you're on Essex's sideline, it's so hard to say. It's easier to say from up here when all we do is talk, not actually coaching down there. You got to say, wow, that was a spark. That was special. It shows you we can do something here. You made that play. Let's do something with that. Yes, that touchdown's not going to count. It's a penalty, but let's come back out here and let's make some special plays on offense.
Yeah, I'd like to think of a game of football. It's almost like a seesaw, right? When one team has all the momentum, it feels like you're sinking and you have a lot of weight on your back and you're feeling the pressure, and that they're just running downhill at you, and it's easier for them to be able to execute what they want to execute, right? But those are one of the plays, even though it may not count on the scoreboard, relieves some of that pressure, gives you some of that momentum coming back. Seeing it from up here, clearly a push in the rear from one of the Ravens there. So good call by the official, and unfortunately takes a touchdown off the board. But we'll see how Essex wants to rebound here.
Yeah, well, they're going to have an opportunity. They're going to be starting on their own 20, which is not disastrous. That's, real life in football. So they're going to have an opportunity. They've gone through their adjustments at halftime. They know what they like and what they don't like. Some of the coaches from up top have gone down there and had a bit of face-to-face communication. So we'll see what they come out and how they want to start.
Yeah, and it looks like they come out with 4 wide receivers. Little toss play to Boston as he finds some room. Looks to have picked out about 3 or 4 there. That's Boston Bedell, the running back. We talked about him a lot in the pregame. Has already made a pretty big impact in this game with an interception on defense, and he has a lot of scrimmage yardage, not just from rushing but receiving as well.
Well, the guy who made a great play there was Joey Carquez, number 70, playing that defensive end spot. He didn't get the tackle, but he set that edge, forced Mr. Bedell to have to make an adjustment, but kept it close.
And there's that double tight end look that we saw from Essex again as Boston Bedell picks up another, looks like to be 6 yards there. Looks to be really close to the first down as the officials will award him a first down. So again, good to not have a 3 and out on your first drive here when you're Essex, right? And that double tight end set is working for them, right?
Dylan, it's working. It's good
Mm-hmm.
running the ball. Obviously, there could be some adjustments, but if I am Essex, I'm sitting here going, whatever it takes, however long it takes, let's get up the field. Let's score a touchdown here.
Yeah, and Bedell comes off the field as El Said, the returner who had that big return for the called back touchdown, looks to get a carry as he picks up 5 on the play. Shout out to the offensive lineman, right, from Essex there. This is where you start to get the physicality. You set the tone. You talk a lot about the offensive linemen there. You know, Leland Smith and Drew Cabral, the look to be the guards are on that offensive line, and they're making some movement happen there.
Well, you've also got number 17, Colton Douglas. He's playing free safety. He's playing pretty low, especially in that double tight look. But he's got to so that he can come in and run Phil. And you know what? They stop a quick 2nd and 5 run play up the middle out of that double tight look. Good play by Kingston. Again, you can't get impatient as an offensive coach here. That's working, but you got to really double down as Essex, running the ball in the interior. 3rd and 4 is a good place to be. It's good. It's not, the most gorgeous thing in the world, but it's a good place to be. It gives you a lot of options. Execute, get up the field, take your time, make sure you get a score.
Especially in 4-down football, right? As it looks to be that counter motion handoff to El Said as he does break a couple tackles, but is brought down by number 21 from the Grenadiers. That's Logan Kingston with the tackle in the backfield. Again, some self-inflicted errors there, right? Kingston sends a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, not everyone gets blocked up, and you're looking at 4th and 8 now.
I saw a little bit more urgency by the Kingston defense on that run play. I think there's a couple players on Essex there that were maybe a little bit slow out of the gate. Maybe they thought the play was different than it actually was, and they allowed some people to come through unblocked. So 4th and 8, not a place where you want to be, but hey, we got to great play by Kingston.
Absolutely. Great call by the defensive coordinator to send that extra pressure there. Counter, and the motion in the backfield does take, as it looks like the kick is blocked. I believe that was by number 26 of the Grenadiers, or let's see here if we can get a better look at it. Maybe number 59?
Yeah, 59 is what I see.
Yeah, 59 from the Grenadiers there ends up getting the
That's
block
Noah
there.
McCarthy.
Different to see an interior guy blocking the kick there.
You know what? I think
good effort.
I think it was a punt that was low, and it kind of drove right into the interior player who kind of got a dent. And what it shows you is you don't know as the somebody on punt return where the ball's going to be kicked. The fact that he dented and he got upfield so much, it gave him an opportunity to make that block. He probably didn't think it was going to happen, but here it is. Back to quads for Kingston.
That's right. 4-by-1 set, one running back in the backfield is number 18 for Kingston. Motions inside as they throw that quick screen out to number 3. Grenadiers look to move up the field as it looks like there may have been actually a loss in the play. That was number 3, Lachlan Jackson, with the pretty impressive reception in the first half. They look to get him going early and often here in the second half.
I'm not. I don't want to say I'm surprised, but the fact is, you've got to this 21-0 lead by Kingston by throwing the ball. You've some strategic runs, some big plays that have happened, but they've stayed in that quads look. They threw the ball to start. You would imagine this kind of urge to just let's sit on it already and let's run the ball, but no, they see the numbers. They threw that hitch. And you know what? It didn't get them anywhere, but it was a good, smart play.
Yeah, hey, if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it, right? And again, they're looking for that pre-snap motion from Kingston as number 9 looks to go back, and he completes a pass over the middle. Looks to be for a touchdown. That is number 10, Nathan Orticello, who had the impressive run in the first half, gets his second touchdown of the day for the Grenadiers.
Amazing play. I mean, that was so well executed, both on the throw, the catch, getting into the end zone, the tough running, not just kind of falling down. I mean, first of all, it starts with the play call. They've got those 3 receivers up there to the field, and they've got 2, like I said, they initially had 2 safeties high. You've got that inside slot getting outside release on that outside backer and getting over the middle and splitting those safeties. I mean, really hard to play defense against that when it's well executed. But like we said, Dylan, it can be there all day. Can the quarterback make the throw? Can the receiver make the catch? I mean, that's extremely well executed. It's so simple, but it's so hard to do, even on that fundamental level. Great play and another touchdown, a game breaker by Nathan Orticello.
Yeah, great reception, great pitch and catch. The main thing is that when we look at the replay here, these safeties are lined up outside of the hash on both sides because there's a safety that's going to come into our screen here. When you have those three receivers, they can run that almost like a divide concept where, you have someone coming inside of that safety as number 23 comes on our screen late there. That's essentially how you want to attack that cover 2 or cover 4 look is if the safeties are lined up too far inside, have the receiver stem the DB and then get inside so he has that leverage to be able to make the catch a lot easier for him, especially the throw too.
Absolutely. Great, insight from you on that. And I got to think that that's something that some of the coaches that are up here in the booth came down and told the coaches, hey, when we stay in a 3 receiver to one side, 2 receivers on the other, those safeties stay base aligned. They don't rotate over to quads.
Mm-hmm.
So they stayed in 3x2 and they just split the safeties with, frankly, their best player today, Nathan Orticello. Great play.
Yeah, great job from the Grenadiers there. There's another deep kickoff here. Let's see if the magic returns from El Said here on the return. Looks to break it onto the outside as a few Grenadiers do look to bring him down, but he drove for another 6 or 8 yards there after being wrapped up to start. So great return there from El Said. And let's see what the Essex offense comes out and does, right? Boston Bedell didn't have them moving the ball, but then when they took him off the field, the offense kind of stagnated, right? But you can't count for a kid to play both ways and on special teams the entire game. So hopefully the Ravens offense will be able to figure out a way to move the ball without him on the field.
I want to give a quick shout out to Jackson Edwards, number 15. An excellent display of sportsmanship on that was helping the other team get up there. Excellent work.
As a quick pass outside to number 81. That's a great matchup for Essex as number 81 catches the ball, runs down the sideline. Wow.
Landon Wiggle. What a great play.
Great catch. Looks like a little bit of a higher tackle there. No call there. Looks to be from the official. But that's, number 81. That was, Landon Wiggle there, as you mentioned. Great pitch and catch there, right? Great.
Well, you've got the corner kind of 10 yards off. Oh, that was definitely a horse collar tackle. That should have been a penalty. I know that you can't see everything, but I mean, that's not a safe play, unfortunately. But great effort by number 81, Landon Wiggle. He ran about a 5-yard hook. They saw that the corner's about 10 yards off, so he's going to retreat. He's going to have some room to catch that ball, put it away, and then break a tackle to get upfield. That's a big play. Excellent work by Landon.
Especially when it looks like that was certainly interesting from the defense. It looks like they may have had too many players on the field as number 0 ran off the field at the last moment.
Evan Pluy makes a massive play for Kingston, but also want to say Nicholas Stacey there, the half. He made a very physical block shed out there, and the receiver who caught the hitch had nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, nowhere to go for that receiver, I believe. It looks like he did get off before the snap was had, as he does end up going back over the Grenadier sideline. Great awareness play from number 0 there for Kingston. That's Noah Pedlar. Hey, I'm on the field. I probably shouldn't be on the field right now. Looks like we have 13, including me, right? So runs off the field and ends up saving his team from having a penalty.
Dylan, I stay awake at night trying to figure out how can I find a way to get 13 players on the field, because that would give us a big advantage, if you can believe it. But I haven't been able to figure it out just yet. Smart play by the receiver smart play by him to get off and not get the penalty.
Absolutely. As we see Essex come back out, looks to be.
They haven't moved the sticks here yet, so I'm not sure what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that they're calling time here to make sure that the sticks do end up getting moved and substitutions come out onto the field for Kingston.
1st and 10. We're moving the sticks. Here we go.
Yeah, 12 on the field for Kingston. It looked odd.
I counted too. It did look odd.
Right? It looked a little different there. So I was like, hey, let's figure out what we're doing here. Toss outside to El Said. He does have some room to break it outside, but it looks like number 24, great open field tackle by number 24. That's Nicholas Stacey. We've called his name a couple of times already on broadcast today. Great tackle. That's something that, that's not just something that you learned this week, right? That's stuff that you're taught since April.
That's really 2 big plays by that young man in a row. An excellent play. And I will also give a shout out to Jake. I think it's Laboute from Essex. Made a great play as a receiver, a great block. If we would have got that edge, it would have been there for sure.
It looks to be a handoff again up the middle to El Sayed there as it's 3rd down and about 11 now for the Ravens. Again, a lot of these kind of miscues are putting them behind the sticks, putting them behind schedule. You know, there's not very many plays on the call sheet that are for 3rd and 15 plus, right? So hard to really get onto your game plan, when you are behind the sticks.
Well, and you know what? You've got 2 plays at one toss and one kind of hitch out there to the receiver that are both quick plays out to the edge that are pretty short. I mean, you've seen this Essex team, come back to maybe stressing them to the side and throwing it deep. That might be what we're looking for here.
Well, interesting now as we look to see how Kingston wants to respond to Essex, as they were actually double covering number 81 there, Nicholas Waggle. Kingston decided to bring a corner over top the press and then leave another DB behind him to play deep. So interesting that they want to slow him up off the line, maybe prevent that little 5-yard hitch as well. Great to see, right? That defensive adjustment. Hey, if this kid can potentially burn us for some big yardage, let's make a difference, right?
Dylan, when I lined up out there at receiver in my younger days, they never did that to me. I'm not sure why. They never respected me that way. So they must have known that Landon Waggle there was a pretty big player. But here we are. It looks like 4th and long.
4th and long, yeah. Essex looking to go for it here, as I believe they call a timeout here to try and get everyone onto the same page, make sure there's no further miscues on that play there.
Well, 4th and long. I mean, I don't know. It's late in the 4th quarter. Well, it's midway through the 3rd quarter is what I should say. Another flyover here from our Canada Geese. Thank you for your service, gentlemen and ladies. But I don't know if this is something you want. You don't ever want to go for it, 4th and long like this, unless you got something pretty special to do. But I mean, it does get desperate pretty quickly. If it's not now, then when is it? It would be great if they could convert, but this is a massive play for Kingston. They're sitting pretty here. They've got a 4-touchdown lead, and I think that Essex, maybe rightly, is looking at the scoreboard going, you know what, we got to make something happen here, and we kind of got to push the chips into the table to make up some ground. But we'll see what they come out in. This is a big play. If you've got to play, now's the time to run it, Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an old school guy. It takes me back to, Boise State, Oklahoma, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. You'd love to see like a hook and ladder or something like that, right? Get creative, run something that they haven't seen before, right? As we come in a split back look for Essex here in the shotgun, 2 receivers to each side as quarterback takes the snap, drops back to pass, looking like he has to escape the pocket early, looking for a receiver downfield. Unfortunately, is unable to get the ball out, sacked, and that's number 26, Evan Ploy number 26, that's Hayden Holman with the tackle here on the play here for the defense. Yeah, look.
You know what? I thought it was like I thought they were sending up a screen pass just because it looked like that D line by Kingston got through really, really quickly through the Essex offensive line. Looked like a smash concept both sides of the field where you're running a hook by the furthest outside receiver and then a kind of a corner route in behind them. Bit of a high-low concept, but the quarterback couldn't, that's a hard throw to make, at the best of times. Mm-hmm. And the quarterback was trying to make a play on his feet, as he's done very well all year, and it didn't work out. So 1st and 10 for the Grenadiers. Yeah, again,
that quads look again, 4x1. Again, too high look here that we're getting from Essex. Three DBs against 4 receivers as they look to get the ball out quick to the single receiver side of the far sideline.
Was that a hook and ladder attempt?
It looked. I was going to say it looked like it. It looked like it. I'm not going to say it was, but the flat and the hook concept.
If you were going, so a hook and ladder would be if Dylan wants to walk us through it. If you throw that quick hook. And you try and maybe pitch it back to the player in behind. He didn't do it, but for 1 second, it looked like he thought about it for.
So unfortunately, it looks like it's when the receiver runs a shorter route. When he catches the ball, he's facing his own line of scrimmage, so he can pitch it back to a second receiver. No dice there. Looks to be a handoff there as the running back breaks it to the outside, picks up a few yards there. I believe that was. Let's check the number here. Yeah, number 34 for the Grenadiers.
That is Elijah McDonald.
Have him listed as a fullback. Right, 4 receivers set. Now you're getting the fullback running the ball. You love to see it.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, they're still in that too high safety look. They're going quads. They are rotating over. If I'm Kingston, I'm going back to it going, hey, listen, we could go back to that 3 receiver set and throw it to Nathan Orticello over the middle. Maybe they're holding that in their back pocket again, but they're staying in quads here for the time being for a 3rd and short.
Yeah, quarterback drops back to pass, look to throw towards that single receiver side, and it is completed as he runs down the far sideline. 10-5, touchdown, Grenadiers, and that is number 9. Oh, sorry, number 9, the quarterback Joseph Blanchette with the completion to, I believe, number 8. I believe that's number 8. We'll get a confirmation on that.
Pretty amazing play. They ran 4 receivers to the boundary. Again, they rotated those 2 safeties over to the 4 receivers. It gives you just a one-on-one look with no help to the field. So he just tossed that ball up, and he let his athlete, the receiver there, make that play. Looked like number 0.
Number 0, yeah, Noah Pedlar.
What a great play. He kept running. The DB got caught backing up. It happens. It's a tough thing for the DB, but to make that play is pretty special. Catch that ball, run, get a touchdown. I mean, this is just a very organized, good execution. From this team. I just can't speak enough about how these teams really are. They feel a lot closer than the scoreboard right now. But like Kingston is not making it that way. They're proving us wrong here by saying, hey, actually, we're just going to keep looking at what the defense is giving us and keep hitting it. They've got excellent athletes, and they're making great plays. I mean, for Noah Pedlar to make a catch like that and run, it seems easy. It's easy to run a go route. Well, no, it's not, especially at this level. To actually put that ball where it needs to be, have the receiver catch it in stride, and then finish the play. I mean, come on. That's a great play. Very, very special. Congratulations to that young man.
And also, that's the field side. Like, that's not a boundary throw. Like, that's a really hard throw for any quarterback to make in the Canadian game, especially at this level, right? So, hats off to the quarterback there, Blanchette, who is throwing the ball and basically putting it wherever he wants today, minus the 1 interception.
Well, hey, we always used to make jokes about that field receiver could be anybody because nobody's ever making that throw. Well, this past year at CCH, we had my good friend, my buddy Tyson Serpa, who our Essex Ravens fans are going to be cheering for as he's going down there to play with the St. Clair Saints next year. He was our field receiver, and he was catching deep bombs all year long from the Cowboy madman Jed Trupish. So pretty amazing throw at this level, let's be honest.
Yeah, that was awesome. And another deep kickoff there. Fielded cleanly there before around the 20-yard line by El Said as he makes one defender miss, second defender miss, runs towards the field. Great block there from the Ravens as El Said does end up making a few more tacklers miss as he drives it towards the 47-yard line there.
I want to say that block was from number 80, Elijah Fournier. That was a big game changer. Okay, you can catch the ball and get a 15-yard gain, or you can make a block and spring your returner for an extra 15 yards, which is, just as important and makes the exact same difference on the gridiron. Great play by Elijah there.
Yeah, great job to put himself in a position to be able to end up, allowing his return to gain those extra yardage there. As we do have an injured Grenadier on the play. That is number 24, Nicholas Stacey. We've said his name a lot today.
He's a good player, man.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's, especially when Essex has gone to that bunch look, they've been stressed. I'd say the only thing I can think of where there was, maybe some confusion was kind of that greasy little play Essex ran with that fake wide receiver hitch, and they threw that bomb that just was incomplete. But he's been making physical tackles and strong, smart plays out there at the half spot. So great job, Mr. Stacey.
As Essex comes back out on offense here, quarterback drops back to pass, short pass over the middle, completed to number 80. Hey, he makes a great block on special teams. Reward the kid with a pass there.
Elijah Fournier there makes that block that springs the returner for an extra 15, 20 yards on the kickoff return, to your point, Dylan. And all of a sudden we're running a speed out to him where he catches that ball, brings it into his person, his body, and he turns upfield and he gets extra yards, and we've got a first down. Great play by that young man.
Yeah, and Florisi, again, kind of on schedule, right? He wants to drop back, pass, get that ball out fast. So, yeah, great job for him to be able to get the ball out fast and not have to scramble. Florisi drops back out again, completed to Fournier again. Looks like to be a late hit as a flag flies in the air. Yeah, hey, you can't do that.
Hey, shades of Coach Marshall here. Forgive me, Coach Marshall, but you'll remember when he would say to us, we'd run a great play, and he'd look us all in the eyes and say, run it again. And they did exactly that. They ran the exact same play, a speed out to Elijah Fournier, and he gets another first down, takes a big hit at the sideline, which you can't do, by the way. That's against the rules, so you get an extra 15 yards. So good discipline by the Essex offensive play calling staff to go back to the well. What they're seeing is they're seeing that half. I think maybe Stacy is out of the game, and they're going, hey, that was a good player. Let's try and pick on that side a little bit because we've got a guy who's been a little bit cold sitting on the sidelines. So
as they see the boot over to the right side there, as Florisi is tackled in the backfield there. Unfortunately, no one blocked that play side defensive end there for the Grenadiers. So when he comes over, scot-free, number 51 from the Grenadiers ends up able to make a play in the backfield. That's Jensen Mackey with the tackle.
yeah, great play. I mean, sometimes you're going to want to kind of read that that defensive end. It looked like a bit of maybe it was either confusion on the O-line where they needed to block him up, or maybe either with a pulling guard or, having that tackle stay on that end, or they just wanted to read right around him, kind of fake that action, that run up the middle, have him chase it, and then boot that way. Either way, it didn't work. He was there to make the play, so excellent work.
Looks like there is another Grenadier down on the field there. Duncan Dawson McDermott. Been playing really well inside, ultimately, right? It's not like those inside runs have gone for, 10, 12 yards. They're stopping them at that 3 to 5 yard mark, which, when you have 4 downs is still, great gains from the offense. But it hasn't been something that Essex has been able to rely on to keep this game close, and that's mostly due to the effort of the interior defensive lineman.
Right. Well, I just want to make a quick note here. We have a injury for a Kingston Grenadier. I'm not sure the number. I thought
it was 91 there.
Yeah, 91. But hopefully he's okay. They're definitely taking a good look at him. Duncan Dawson McDermott, and I will say that is a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
If I may say so. So hopefully he's okay. Looks like he's moving. But hey, Essex is driving. They're driving as a result of 2 big plays to Elijah Fournier, the slot receiver, running a speed out where the quarterback is putting it right on him, and there was also a penalty there. So they're making the plays they need to. Looks like Duncan is coming off with the support of some of his buddies on the Kingston sideline.
Always good to see when a player is able to walk off under their own power, right? Yeah. That's, we never want any injuries to happen, but if they happen, then we want them to be as less severe as possible.
Yeah, he is on that sideline. Looks like he's walking by himself, so that's good. He did get some support to come off, but now he's better off. Double tight eye. Here we go.
Yeah, double tight eye. I think we all know who's getting the ball here. That's Boston Bedell making a couple people miss as he breaks it out into the second level of the defense and is tackled for about an 8-yard gain. That they mentioned, right? He calls himself Mini McCaffrey for a reason, right? And he's electric, he's fast, he's explosive. I believe also a former London Junior Mustang as well, but now living in the Windsor, Essex area.
Oh, interesting.
Is now making a difference in that program. And again, that double tight eye look very much looks like, gap scheme ISO. What do we mean gap scheme? Meaning that you're going to run to a specific gap that's created by the offensive line. But again, that double tight look is working for them, and they're going to look to score here with that as Kingston brings a lot of pressure and is able to bring down Bedell in the backfield. Group of Grenadiers there making the play. Looks like number 5, Nicholas Agazi, number 55, that's James McCarthy. We've said his name a couple times, making the plays in the backfield as this ends the third quarter here at Western University Stadium in London, Ontario. Kingston Grenadiers up 35 as the score is 35-0 as there looks to be a flag on the play at the end of that interaction there.
Well, again, they run for 2 plays in a row up the middle with a fullback lead. I would like to see from the fullback a little bit, quicker through the hole, clear out some space for Boston Bedell. But that's okay. Again, every time they've run this twice in a row, they've ended up in a 3rd and short or a 1st down. So a 3rd and short is fine. It's good if you can, there's a lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and short, to your point, Dylan, from earlier. There's not so many for 3rd and long. So a good play, a good drive by Essex, it would be really great if they could convert and do. And I will say, they're also, again, stressing Kingston by having a number of diverse looks. You've had that 2-by-2 look with 2 receivers on each side, 4 receivers on the field, throwing the ball with a couple very kind of strategic throws, simply meaning that they see what Kingston's giving them and the personnel on the field, and we're going to take advantage. And then they're saying, okay, great. Now we're going to go with, a 31 look or a 2 tight ends and a fullback look and run the ball twice up the gut. They can change and diversify. The problem for Essex is when they get into kind of drop back passes and the QB needs to scramble and he's getting swallowed up. So hopefully they can either grab that ball, grab that snap and throw it and get it out there, or they can run the ball and get the 1st down. This will be a big opportunity to convert by them, and you got to think they're going to be going forward on 4th if we see that opportunity.
Of course, and if I believe I may be wrong here, but I think every touchdown this game has been scored into that far end zone, into the end zone to our right.
I can't think of one in the.
I can't think of one that's been scored yet. So if anything, you have the better end zone on the side for Essex coming to start the 4th
whatever
quarter.
It's going to take. Whatever
exactly.
it's going to take.
Something's got to give here.
I think the ball's placed in the wrong spot.
I do as well, unless there was a penalty that we didn't get. The only penalty I think that would have moved it back that far would have been holding.
I saw 3rd and short, so
did I. Okay.
4th and.
We'll have to go to our in-house Mike Florio here to see what happened. Bobbled snap. Florisi drops back to pass, evades one tackle, but unfortunately is wrapped up in the backfield by number 33 from the Grenadiers. That is Grady Go with the tackle or with the sack in the backfield as the ball is turned over and Kingston's offense comes back onto the field.
Well, that was my mistake. I thought we were in a different situation there. So
let me go ask our in-house staff here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we missed, but in any case, it's a turnover. And we thought it was 3rd and short. It ended up being 4th and 20. I feel like Essex thought the same thing because they still had those 2 tight ends and fullback on the field. But anyways, we got a big sack in the backfield, and Kingston takes over on a turnover. So 1st and 10 for the Grenadiers on their own 38-yard line. And we'll see what they can do. Number 8, Daniel Sogbine in the backfield QB.
All right, handoff to the fullback there as he does go across the 40-yard line there. Turns out there was an objectionable conduct at the end of the play at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Well, you can't do that. That's not good. So
you can't do that.
Hopefully, that's unfortunate. I did not see that, so there we go. I guess that's the explanation we needed. But Elijah McDonald with his 2nd carry on the day. The second one I can remember from this 2nd half, anyways, gives us a 2nd and let's call it 4.5, 2nd and 5 to be clear.
Again, quads look to the field there.
Looks like we have a new QB in the game, Daniel Sogbine in the game.
Right, let's see how this young man does as he looks to drop back to pass, throws it out towards that wide receiver screen. As Raven was there to quickly make the tackle. Let's grab the number there. I believe that was number 32 for the Ravens, and that is Caden Cloak.
Well, and that was an excellent play. He shedded the blocker that was on top of him, and then he broke down right in front of the receiver as he was making the catch, and he made that tackle. It was straight out of a drill you might run on a Tuesday or a Thursday here in the summer. So excellent play.
Yeah, the good old T-step, right?
Yes.
The good old T-step from the DBs there. Great job as Kingston looks to come back out and rectify the negative play. As the quarterback drops back to pass, throws it, and unfortunately is incomplete. Was looking for number 3, Lachlan Jackson, the receiver there. Ball was put in a pretty good spot. Just a little bit too high, but again, that's a manageable catch for a receiver.
Good ball placement. Yeah, like he kind of put it right where he could get it. And for a QB that's been on the sideline all game to come out and make that play is, or to make that throw is pretty good. But unfortunately through his hands, and we'll have a punt here from Kingston.
I believe this is Kingston's 2nd punt of the day. but I am always open to being proven wrong, as I believe it's number 7 or number 10 that is their punter.
Well, he's lined up at about like 8 or 9 yards here,
It's
so
rather
it's
short.
pretty dangerous. But hey, he gets it off pretty quickly. Well
Good
done.
punt. And that is Boston Bedell with the return. A little bit of everything that we've seen him do today. Some DB, some running back, some receiver, and then even as a returner, he picks himself up at about 12 yards there as Essex comes back out on offense. And again, yeah, unlucky end zone. The end zone to our left on your screen there. So hopefully Essex is able to put up a score before the end of the game here.
A net punt of only about 7 yards, unfortunately, but that's okay. We now have Essex starting in midfield, and there's 8 minutes left in the game, and hopefully they can get a drive here. They do not want to leave here without a score on the board, but this defense from Kingston has been pretty remarkable today. So excellent
Absolutely.
work. Looks like a penalty of some sort.
Looks like there was holding on the return team there, backing it up about an additional 10 yards there.
Dylan knows a lot about holding, and that's
Yep.
okay. So
Yep.
he knows it when he sees it.
Happens on every play, That's what they say, at least.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to admit that on the air, Dylan, but that's we got 4 receivers. Now we've got Essex in quads here.
Yeah, they've shown this look a couple times, and they've typically thrown that screen. But as Farisi does have to escape the pocket here, looks to break a couple tackles. It is taken down in the backfield once again by a group of Grenadiers. It's number 33 and number 51 coming through. Jensen Mackey and Grady Gaw with the tackle there. Yeah, they've been getting after him all day. If he's taken longer than 2-3 seconds to throw.
No, but come on, he's an excellent player. He's done very well all year. He's a key reason as to why they're here, and frankly, he's doing his very best today. They are prepared for him, and you would think on a short week that they might not be, but man, this front is getting after him all day long.
Absolutely. Looks like a 30 front now coming out from Kingston as they're expecting the passes. Farisi puts a big bomb down the field. Looks like an amazing catch by number 81. That's Landon Wiggle, who had the big reception in the third quarter. Great reception again here in the fourth. What a catch by the young man.
That is an excellent catch. He was in full stride. He was the sole receiver down here to the boundary. Looked like it was an ISO play that we're going to bomb it to him no matter what. That safety tried to get over, but he stayed in full stride. He did not break down and kind of look up at the ball and let it become, underrun it. He caught that ball and he brought it.
And it was in double coverage. There was a corner on the line and a corner deep, and they go to him again. Unfortunately, run it again. As Coach Marshall, heard that more than enough times.
Well, now they brought actually that safety just kind of over top, as you said. They weren't joking around about double covering him. They didn't even pretend to be in the middle of the field. There were 3 Grenadiers around him by the time the ball got there, and it was close. He almost made the play. So a good ball and very, very close, but we've got a 2nd and 10. So maybe that young man can have a breather here instead of running a go route again. But he's single covered here.
Yeah, it looks to be 3 down linemen again. Farisi does look to run as he runs over a defender. That's a great attitude play, especially in the fourth quarter here. You could mail it in as the quarterback, right? But to still be able to physically set the tone and want to run through a defender, that shows a lot of grit, shows a lot of toughness from Farisi there.
And Caleb Kelly, the linebacker, number 54 for Kingston, I mean, he got ran over there, but he also made the tackle.
Correct.
So, you know what? Sometimes you're going to get run over. That's the nature of breaking down and the other guy running full speed at you, but guess what? He made the tackle. Good work.
That's right. And they're looking to go to Wiggle again, but they throw outside. That's number 15.
Oh, my goodness.
What a catch.
Wow.
Number 15, that's Jackson Edwards. Again, those receivers on that exchange concept. Wiggle ends up coming down and running what looks to be a post and then a wheel coming from Edwards there. What a catch. That's one of the more difficult catches you can make in football.
Listen, the only time I've said number 15, Jackson Edwards on the broadcast has been a great sportsman play on the kick return. That's an unbelievable catch. Hopefully we get that one in HD later. QB sneak.
Looks to be close.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Essex Ravens. They put one on the board in the fourth quarter here. What a way to cap off that drive. They're moving the ball here, right? Great job from, all the offensive players involved. And again, quarterback sneak, again, a very much an attitude play, right? Physical play. They get on the board here with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter of this U14 AAA KJ Kennedy Cup here at Western University.
Listen, it doesn't look like it's going to make a difference on the final score. It looks like, the lead has been established already. However, the fact that what is that, 4 plays on that drive, they came back and they made 2 amazing catches, one from Landon Wiggle and the other one from Jackson Edwards. I mean, they were well-placed balls by Josiah Florisi, but, I mean, to bring in those catches is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad they were able to convert. The shutout is over, unfortunately, for Kingston, but that's okay. I'm sure they will be very, very proud of their play to this point, this game.
Absolutely, and especially, there may be a lot of kids that are getting playing time, right, that may not have been starters, right? So there is an opportunity to get everyone on the field, especially when you have a lead like this, and it's great, every kid wants to play and be part of that championship win. So the fact that Kingston's able to make that happen is great. But yeah, good on Essex for being able to move the ball. And again, that right side end zone, it's got some magic to it. And I think we've seen every single score be in that end zone.
Well, I'm just looking at these 2 teams. I think they've come a long way this year, and Kingston to be able to cap it off this way is pretty special for them. I think both teams have a lot of players that they're very eager to see go play high school football in the fall, and then be able to continue to work out, get better, improve their, football IQ and their physical strength as they're also growing young men. Mm-hmm. And onside kick here.
Very interesting formation from the Ravens, right? That you see that traditional, but they're all condensed and they're bunched up to see who could potentially get the ball there. But yeah, the ball is recovered by the Grenadiers. And I was slightly wrong. The first touchdown of the game was scored on that left end zone there. So,
don't let it happen again.
Yeah, hey, we're professionals here. I shouldn't be making those kind of mistakes.
Well, interesting onside kick, trying to run up the middle. The fact that the Kingston player, I did not get the number there, unfortunately, was able to grab it and retain it is a big play. So we've got 3.5 minutes left, and the ball dead center in the middle of the field here with that beautiful purple Western Mustang logo right above it.
All right, Kingston comes out on offense here. I believe new quarterback as well. This is number 12, Devin Hunter, coming into the game at quarterback. Looks to bark the signals out. Flag flies, and he is sacked in the backfield. Looks like it could have potentially been a fumble there. I believe that's number 58 or 54 from the Ravens there. 54, Dorian Bomarito with the sack. Looks like it got a lot of pressure from that defensive line unit there.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. They're coming full speed. I mean, that young man flew through that right guard out off a basic, very strong effort, strong bull rush. And, I mean, like I was saying, both these teams have younger players that are going to be back next year that they want to continue to develop, and they're going to do that. So, looked like we had a penalty on that.
Looks like one of the defenders
offside
from the Ravens was offside, but as Kingston does come out in that quads look again, to run that guard outside look, as I believe that's number 28 for the Grenadiers, Connor Locke, tackled into the backfield. Again, an unkindness of Ravens.
Well, we've got a defensive line that is down 4 touchdowns, and realizing there's only 3 minutes left in the game, they're coming full speed ahead. I really like to see that. I think the coaches really like to see that. And really, you have an opportunity, to understand there's only a few minutes left in the season here. What do you want to put on tape? What kind of effort do you want to show if you're the Essex Ravens? So, I'm very impressed by the D-line to continue fighting this late in the game as diligently and as aggressively as they are right now.
Absolutely, it just goes to show that the coaching staff for Essex, as well as Kingston, right? You tell your kids to play the full game. Right,
Absolutely.
never give up. It just goes to show when there's still that amount of effort being shown in a game when you're down by this much, it goes to show there's a ton of effort. As big offside here from the defense of Essex. They draw him offside to get back to being about a 2nd and 4 here, 2nd and 5.
Well, hey, that's what happens when you pin your ears back and you want to kind of steamroll the O-line, as I was saying. You're going to get a little bit excited. And if you're the offensive play caller or coordinator, or if you're the head coach, you're going to say, hey, why don't we go on 2 this time if they're pinning their ears back and they want to run through us and get the offside, which is what they did. So now you've got 2nd and mid.
All right, and it looks to be quads or 4 receivers towards the field. As looks to be a draw play handed off to number 28. He breaks a few tackles, breaks some more, ends up picking up about 10 yards there. And that's number, I believe, 28, Connor Locke with the carry late in this 4th quarter. Great play design, right? You get the quarterback completely turning towards the quad side, looking for that wide receiver screen, just to hand the ball off up the middle. Great play designed by the Grenadiers.
And the running back also made the first linebacker miss. I mean, there was the strong side linebacker who was kind of unblocked. He dropped into coverage to start, came back down, and he makes that guy miss for a gain of a few extra yards here. So we've got 49 seconds left in this game. We've had Kingston just have a fantastic, very well prepared, clearly. Excellent scheme, understanding the opponent that they're up against. And you guys are telling me they played on Tuesday. I mean, that's pretty impressive for them to be able to turn around and do that. They appear to be very well coached, and the players that are on the field executed all the times that they need to. I mean, you had it was Nathan Orticello with a massive run, a huge run that kind of broke this game wide open to kind of establish dominance. And he also had an excellent play later on with a seam right up the middle. So, I mean, huge plays and just basic fundamentals from the blocking by the receivers and linemen at the same time. Excellent work.
Yeah, shout out to the offensive line of the Grenadiers as well, right? When you're able to keep your quarterback standing completely straight up, as it looks to be that wide receiver sweep that they ran in the first half. That's number 16 looking to get outside. Unfortunately, slips and stumbles, but he had a lot of space in front of him. That's Emerson Goodberry with the run there. For that turf monster's gotten a few of them today.
He did. He slipped on that number 4. It gets a little slippery out there, but you know what? It was a good play concept, good run, and unfortunately slipped. It happens. That's football. So it looks like we might have one more play here before the end of the game. Let's have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, have the opportunity to run some stuff or run something different. Or it looks like they may just kneel the ball out here. Show some respect to your opponent.
Congratulations to the AJ Kennedy Cup champions this year with a huge Gatorade bath for their head coach.
And congratulations to your U14 AAA KJ Kennedy Cup champions, the Kingston Grenadiers. Great game, start to finish, right? As you mentioned, that receiver counter, that receiver sweep really broke the game open. Nathan Orticelli being able to have that massive, I believe it was a 40-plus yard run where making multiple defenders miss, really set the tone for the game for this Kingston offense. Again, saw a lot of things that are different from U14 ball. Not a lot of U14 teams come out in 4 wide receiver sets and run pass the ball as effectively as Kingston did today. And ultimately that made the difference, right? The quick scores, being able to move the ball down the field, whereas Essex wasn't able to do that.
Well, listen, Kingston came out. They were very well prepared, as I've said before, and they executed very well. The better team today won, and I think that Essex, if they played this team 10 times, they might get a few of those wins against this Kingston team. But, man, Kingston really showed themselves to be an excellent team, deserving of this win, deserving of this championship and championship game. Really thank you to everybody that came down to London, made the trip all the way from Kingston. Love it up there whenever I have the opportunity to go. But to come down here and play, and win this championship, that's pretty amazing for them. So congratulations to them. Great effort by Essex. I saw a lot of sportsmanship on the field. Again, I want to give a big shout out to my new buddy Jackson Edwards with that huge catch to put them right near the goal line for a touchdown in Essex, and some great sportsmanship efforts on the kickoffs and otherwise during the game. So great effort by both teams. Disappointing outcome by Essex, but great game by both teams, and congratulations to the winners.
All right, fellas. Well, they're going to gather in the north end zone so the next game can get going. What's kind of nice is it looks like we've got about a 40-minute countdown clock here, so we'll get a little break. And for everybody watching can we go to camera 1? For everybody watching the stream, we're going to go to the end zone and try and catch the cup ceremony. That's about 400 feet away from here, so we may just get the video on it, but fingers crossed that the audio and everything's good with all the cell phones and interruption in the area here, fellas. But big congrats to the Kingston Grenadiers. Quite the showing here at Western University. I want to thank Coach Sherville and Coach Caranci for jumping on here and just letting your football minds explode on the air here, boys. Really good job. So we'll let you guys take a little break. I can walk them through the ceremony here, but hopefully we should have Darren Stevenson joining us here shortly.
Thank you, Adam.
Appreciate
thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. Great job. And both these great coaches will be back here for the 11:30 game, which is the KJ Kennemy Cup in the U18 AAA division, as all part of AAA Saturday. So we'll take a quick break here while we get set up for the trophy ceremony.
And today's offensive MVP from the Kingston Grenadiers, number 9, Joseph Blanchet. And if all the Kingston Grenadiers captains can gather there to grab the championship banner for the U14 and AAA division of the Ontario Summer Football League.
Once again, a big congrats to the U14 AAA Grenadiers. We've got Darren Stevenson down on the field, which we'll see if we can get him for a quick interview as soon as he's prepped. But again, join us at 11:30. Please like and subscribe on the London Football TV channel, and then head on over to 519 Sports Online. We're working in tandem with the great guys from Waterloo this weekend, and all the highlights and the game recap will be there as well, too. So please go on and share that on all your socials. And we will have that 11:30 game. So hopefully we'll have Darren Stevenson here shortly. And take it away, Darren, if you got me.
I got you, Adam. Ready to go down here on the field. We're with Joe Blanchet, who is the MVP of the championship-winning Kingston Grenadiers. You got your boys beside you here. Boys, make some noise for your QB. How did it happen today for you guys? How were you so effective to be able to win the football game, Joe?
Throwing up some dots, and then our defense kind of shut them out, so it's pretty easy to just score on them and come in 0 points. And we just ran it. Nate got a 60-yard touchdown.
Now clap them up, boys. You got a 60-yard touchdown. What made the offense so effective? Obviously, you guys jumped out to a big lead. I thought you were clean. I thought you were efficient. Obviously, you were putting it in good spots, and then obviously getting plays from your running backs, your wide receivers. Tell me what you loved about the way the offense played today, Joe.
The play calling's really good, and then we just executed. Like, everyone's fast, so we just burn them with speed, and then we just throw it up, and then we just get the deep balls, and then got a lot of pulling guards, and we just run it up the middle.
What makes this team so special? Last one for you. You get all the way here to London. Obviously, you're a long way from home. How much pride do you feel taking this championship back to Kingston and the 613? This team is made up of what?
Probably some heart. We're all friends. The bus ride up was
The bus ride up was pretty good, and I'm betting the bus ride home will also be very good. Hey, boys, show that trophy, that banner to that camera right there. The Kingston Grenadiers are the champions here on Saturday morning, OSFL Championship weekend. Let's hear you, Kingston. Make some noise. You guys are the champions here today at Western's Alumni Field. Much more coming here as we continue AAA Saturday. Next up, we've got the Myers Riders from Nepean facing the Waterloo Junior Warriors. Junior Warriors coming in with 4 straight wins. They're looking to continue their run, and it's all coming up right here on London Football TV. Stay tuned for the streams. We'll have highlights and interviews on 519 Sports. What a win for Kingston, and they will also play tonight in the U18 AAA Championship under the lights when they take on the Hamilton Junior Ticats. Great start for the Grenadiers as they capture the championship here on the first game of OSFL Saturday. Let's set it back up to you, Adam.
Thank you, Darren. And once again, big congratulations to the U14 AAA, now KJ Cup champions here at Western University. We'll be back in about 25 minutes with the next matchup in the KJ Kennedy Cup Series. U18 AAA Myers Riders taking on the Waterloo Junior Warriors. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you back here real soon.